Welcome back, guys. So the inevitable has finally happened. David Gravel has accomplished something that not many guys in the history of sprint car racing have done, and that is get to 100 career World of Outlaws wins. Now, I feel like we've been talking about Gravel a lot here on the channel recently. Obviously, we had that video a few days ago talking about him being the sixth or seventh guy to ever win the Triple Crown in sprint car racing, the Kings Royal Knoxville Nationals and the National Open. But I mean, he's had a career year, right? I mean, he just won almost 300 grand in 1 week at Eldora and Attica. Does that with the Kings Royal win, and now he hits 100. He hits the century mark in wins with the Outlaws. So you might not like Gravel very much. I know there's a lot of haters out there, but as I mentioned in that other video, man, he is a guy that we might not see anybody get to 100 wins again for a very long time here. I mean, the next closest guy is Brad Sweet. Obviously, he does not run the Outlaws full time anymore. He's like probably the next closest guy that's active right now that can get to that mark. And then after that, it's like Logan Schuchart, who's like at 42, right? So the next time we see somebody get to 100 wins, man, it could be a while. This is a big deal. David Gravel is a driver that is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer whenever he decides to retire. He has done so many incredible things already, and he's only 32 years old. 32, that's it. And he's already at 100 career World of Outlaws wins. So I wanted to look at go in depth and look at all these wins and talk about car owners, what years he won in, look at the overall wins list with the Outlaws and some other things here on this board, and just talk about it, man, because this is something that we knew was going to happen this year. We knew that he was going to get there with the departure of Brad Sweet from the Outlaws going to the high limit deal. We knew that David Gravel was going to get a lot of wins this year and probably was going to eclipse that 100 mark, and he did it last night at Williams Grove Speedway. So Gravel's first win, actually, let's go to this side of the board. So David Gravel, 32 years old, as I mentioned at the time of this video. And if you're maybe watching this for the first time, you don't know anything about sprint car racing, David Gravel is the driver of the Big Game Motorsports #2, full-time Outlaw guy, current World of Outlaws point leader, 32-year-old driver from Watertown, Connecticut. His first ever World of Outlaws win came at the Talladega Short Track in 2011. And his winningest track just so happens to be the place he won at last night. His winningest Outlaw track is Williams Grove. He has 9 victories at that racetrack, including 2 when it comes to the National Open, the biggest race of the year. The biggest race, the most historic race, the most prestigious race on the East Coast when it comes to sprint car racing. And we'll get to this part here in just a moment. But back over here, so in 2011, as we mentioned, Gravel did get that 1 victory to get his first one out of the way. Does not get any wins in 2012. It comes back in 2013. He gets 2 wins in 13, 5 wins in 14, 9 wins in 2016, and in 2017, he has 18 wins. So that is absolutely an incredible year. Somehow, it wasn't the most wins on that year, though. Donnie Schatz had 22 in 2017. 2018, he slips back and has 5 wins. 2019, he has 12 wins. 2020 with 7. 2021, 11. 2022, he had 7 again. 2023, he had 12. And this year so far, he has 11 wins with that win yesterday at Williams Grove. And by the time you see this video, he may have won again already. They raced tonight at Weed Sport. He's already got a couple of wins there. He's very, very good at Weed Sport. So that number could get to 12, and he could be at 101 wins by the time that you see this video. Now, I wanted to look at the car owners as well. He has won with a lot of different car owners when it comes to the Outlaws. That first win in 2011 came with his family-owned number 89G car, the Gravel Motorsports car. The next one came with Bill Rose. So Bill Rose's number 6 car. David Gravel does have an Outlaw win in that machine as well. We got one more win here. That is with the Rod Tyner 83 SA. That came, I believe, at the Merced Speedway in California. So David Gravel has won with Rod Tyner. The 83, the Roth Motorsports car, he had 4 wins in that car. 32 wins in the CJB Motorsports number 5. 19 wins in the Jason Johnson Racing 41. And 42 wins so far in the Big Game Motorsports number 2. And he has not been in that car for an incredibly long amount of time. Already 42 wins in his career with that car and that car owner. Now, I want to talk about this at the very bottom here. It took David Gravel 863 starts to go from win 1 to win 100. So 863 starts to get to 100 wins. And in that time span, well, I guess overall in his Outlaw career, I should say, he has 400 top 5s and 640 top 10s with the win yesterday at Williams Grove. Now, looking at the wins list for the Outlaws, the overall wins list, Steve Kinzer, it will never be touched. He has the most wins and forever will have the most wins at 690. Sammy Swindell is second at 394. Donnie Schatz at 314, and he is obviously still going strong. Has won, I think, 3 or 4 times this year. Mark Kinzer at 203 is in fourth. Doug Wolfgang in fifth at 140. Danny Lasowski at 122. Joey Saldana at 105. And David Gravel becomes the 8th different guy to get into the 100 win bracket with the Outlaws. He's 8th on the all-time wins list as well. And I honestly think, and I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below, I think that if Gravel does stay on the Outlaw Tour for the rest of his career, he could easily get to 4th on this board. He could get another 103 wins. He's 32 years old. Donnie Schatz has 314 wins, and he's in his mid-50s now, I believe, at this point in time, or low 50s for Donnie Schatz. And David Gravel, I mean, he's 32. He could easily get another 103 wins and pass Mark Kinzer for 4th. He will 100% get to 5th on the board with the Outlaws if he does stay a full-time Outlaw driver. Now, I did put this at the bottom. Brad Sweet is 10th on the overall wins list, and I have a question mark next to him because he could be the next guy to get to 100. He has 91, and I'm willing to bet that if Brad Sweet did not, if the high limit deal did not happen and Brad Sweet ran the Outlaw Tour this year, he would have gotten to 100 as well. Don't worry about that. I don't even know why I was holding that in the first place. But Brad Sweet, if he was on the Outlaw Tour, he would have gotten to a 100. And you got to imagine Brad Sweet will not retire until he gets to 100 Outlaw wins. I would have to guess. I mean, that's just a huge number, right? A big round number of 100. I cannot see Brad Sweet calling it quits without getting 9 more wins. The guy in between there was Dave Blaney. He had 95. So, yeah, Sweet could be the next one. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, yeah, right down here, Donnie Schatz. So in comparison to Donnie Schatz, and I'm not making this a direct comparison to him, but he is the most recent guy, I believe, maybe Saldana, to get to 100 wins. But, Schatz and Gravel, the only 2 on this list here that are still racing full-time with the Outlaws. Schatz, it took him 835 starts to get from 1 to 100 in comparison to 863 for David Gravel. So, I don't know what I was going with that I just thought it might be interesting to kind of, see how close they were. And it is relatively close. I mean, 35 plus, I mean, it's about 35-ish races before, that Schatz did it quicker than Gravel. So, yeah, definitely some interesting numbers when you put it all on the board. And there's probably some other things I could dig up on this, but I only have so much room on this whiteboard to make it happen. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. David Gravel, as I mentioned, by the time you watch this, he could be 101 wins. They do race tonight at Wheat Sport in New York. And so nice job by David Gravel, a Hall of Fame career, a first ballot Hall of Famer without question. And he is still in the prime of his career right now. And he's got a lot more winning to do and a lot more money to make. So congrats to David Gravel on a huge accomplishment. Congrats to Todd Queering as well, the car owner. Their 42nd win together, and I could see them doing a whole lot more of that here over the next couple of years. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and comment down below, where do you think David Gravel, by the end of his career, will end up on the overall wins list with the World of Outlaws? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.